I present to you the most annoying enemy of all, the hot micer. G'day, this is Captainoob, and having completed the quest to finding a good legendary minigun in Fallout 76, the quest has expanded into finding out what is the best legendary minigun in Fallout 76. Today on the Killing Fields, we do have none other than a Furious explosive minigun, which is a pretty powerful weapon. Going over the basics here, Furious goes very well with high rate of fire weapons, even if they are low damage, because you can get that damage stacking very, very quickly. And obviously, bullets exploding is for the same reason. Although, according to sources, those two cancel each other out, which is bullshit, because you've always got the explosive bullets, right? It's whether the fact that that cancels out the prefix effect of Furious, which we'll have a look at in this video. And whilst we might be cucking ourselves a little bit on the rate of fire with the tri-barrel, we'll get to that a little bit later, we can actually use this as a closer examination whether those myths hold true. So we're doing 36 damage with the tri-barrel, which is actually pretty significant. Again, we'll get to that a little bit later, but speccing ourselves up a little bit will do us nicely. So putting on heavy gunner there, heavy gunner, and not master shotgunner. Yeah, I've been screwing up with the perks a little bit, unfortunately, so this time I'm going to make extra sure that I've actually got the right perk selected. There's basic heavy gunner, and of course Bloody Mess goes on, and to boost our damage ever so slightly more, since this is an explosive weapon, Demo Expert will boost this ever so slightly more. And for a single bullet damage minigun with explosive, 73 damage is a very, very good starting point, yes. So not a lot is new on this thing except for the tri-barrel, which, by the way, you can only obtain those from vendors as far as my knowledge is. Feel free to correct me on that. I have scrapped many a minigun. The tri-barrel has not come up yet. Perhaps if you learn the plan to it, maybe that's a thing they offer at Watoga or the Brotherhood of Steel vendor, which is also in Watoga, would you believe? Maybe you can make this as your own. But compared to the accelerated barrel, we get less rate of fire and more accuracy and range. And compared to the prime barrel, we actually get the same damage per bullet without using the ultra sight rounds, which are precious few. But the flip side of that is we do get less DPS thanks to the rate of fire on this thing. Another thing worth noting is the weight of this thing. So with the center barrel just under 16 pounds, we can basically double that with the tri-barrel. So it's going to be very heavy in our inventories like this, so that is a huge drawback. Maybe worth chucking on bare arms if you're running around with this and, you know, don't really value reload time all that much. But still, the damage reigns true, and we'll use this at range to see if we can't accommodate the tri-barrel's weaknesses, or strengths, I should say. Alright, so apart from being exceptionally powerful at range, and accurate, by the way, look at that with stabilized, I think what we can do with the tri-barrel is actually hold down lines a little bit easier. So if I wanted to choke point all of these ghoulies through here, and the ghouls are all out, by the way, it looks like they're out by the sound of them, or sounds like they're out, and if we can aggro all these guys and just try to hold this little choke point here. What the fuck are you doing here? Get out. Get out. Well, looks like the deers have actually aggroed the ghouls for me, so, you know, that's funny. And now, what we can do is just mow down the ghouls as they rock up. In fact, I'm hitting them so hard that I'm breaking their legs as soon as I shoot them. Come on, let's see some actual ghoul responses out of this. Yes. You know what, you're a little bit too close, so I'm going over here. Yeah, you don't try to moonwalk out of that, mate. There's the Wendigo. Yeah, looks like the deers really pissed the ghoulies off because, oh, that was close. Okay. Don't attack the ghouls when they're infused with lag, that's for sure. And you're still sleeping after all that. So, you know, if it had have been like a huge crowd control situation where they're all running at me and doing all that, I could just jump in the air and rain down explosives on the ground. And the rate of fire doesn't seem to be too bad, to be honest. It's 118, which is a little bit less, isn't it? It's not a whole lot less than, you know, it's not night and day difference. It's still hitting hard. It's got plenty of DPS to it, but you can definitely tell this thing has a lot more accuracy at range. So if range is your game, just like it was back in Fallout 4, sorry, the tri-barrel is definitely worth having. And it's good for bullet efficiency too, because generally the miniguns are one of the least bullet efficient weapons, especially for the 5mm class when you've got stuff like the Gatling gun, right? So having a little bit extra punch in your 5mm spitting out of this from a still respectable speed from the tri-barrel minigun, you can actually do pretty well with that. I haven't actually noticed any furious effect proccing with these ghoulies, so your guess is as good as mine if it's actually working. We'll have a big monster with a giant hit bar to test it on a little bit later, I suppose. Also, even though this thing is an explosive weapon, do try. Oh, it's a furious baton. Guess what? Who's getting that one? That one's going to get turned into scripts. But yes, always make sure you actually get those hits in, because otherwise you won't be getting the full effect of your bullets, which is, you know, what you kind of want out of a minigun, because you're going to be spraying them all over the shot anyway. And we are done before anyone else got here. Let's quickly split before they get angry at me. Alright, so this time we're actually going to be using this thing at range. Normally I sit up on those rocks and shoot it, but we're going to be sitting up here today. Watch the health bar closely. If this thing does more consecutive damage on the target with hits, we'll know that that myth is false. Well, we seem to be... Oh, it's jumping around a bit. It looks like it wants to, but then it forgets. Oh wait, no, that was just because of sneak attack criticals. Well, it doesn't look like it did it? It was kind of hard to see with those sneak attack criticals because the the bar was sort of jumping around everywhere, but it looks like that thing holds true. I didn't see significant damage bonuses from the thing from concentrated fire there, and I do mean that not with the VATS thing, just with heaps of bullets onto it, so it looks like that's true, I guess. Cool. Nice. And then suddenly Scorch Beast pops in, so yep, let's go ahead and see if we can't replicate what we just found out against a Scorch Beast. Yeah, it seems to be about the same, and it's easy to tell when the health bar isn't around. And looks like we got a twofer here, because a pair of level 80 Scorch Beasts are attacking me. So, yep, I'm just going to hit him in the wings, and I'm not sure... Oh, yep, he's down. Thank you, one gun army. Bit of third person action, why not? Hit him in the bum, and then whack him in the head until he's dead. Who was that? Was that a ghoul? No, I've already finished with the ghouls. Oh my god, it's a 3-for-1. Okay, cool. What is... who's the flying thing now, Scorch Beast? Okay, that was rude of you to stagger me like that, but still. Alright. So we've got a bunch of ghouls to deal with. They've tried to get revenge on me. And right there, basically, that's why you always want to hit your targets directly, because the explosive damage, whilst there's a lot of bullets there, you get so much more better bullet efficiency if you actually hit those targets with your explosive miniguns. Where the fuck are you going, mate? He is out of there. He's flying way outside of... Oh, I can still hit him there. And I guess we're retaining that damage a little bit, I suppose, from our tri-barrel. And at this point, you've got to be landing, right? I've probably busted you up real bad. Speaking of busting things up, put you out of your ghouly misery. And now we can get stuck into this one. Yeah, that was the Scorch Beast police, because I'm using illegal, overpowered weapons, I suppose. But now they're dead. I won't be under arrest today. Alrighty, so here we are outside of Nudie's Plaza. Excuse the reload speed. I've got a lot of my inventory right now and prepared for the legendary vendor tomorrow. So Bare Arms has to go on and lock and load comes off. But regardless of that, we're going to be using this at range. And as you can tell here, the spread on this is actually quite small. It's minimal. It's really accurate at range. And just like it was back in Fallout 4, it is definitely the best range choice. And in terms of bullet efficiency, this is definitely a very strong contender for the best bullet efficiency for a minigun, because, you know, you get all of this damage from the explosions and extra damage and accuracy at range too, so you're not going to be missing and spraying all over. So yes, there's some pretty good pluses about it. What's the opposite of flaws? There's a lot of good things about a tri-barrel. Unfortunately, it might get overlooked due to the massive weight of the weapon. That turret, is it dead? Yes, it is. Anyways, so looking at this thing with adrenaline damage at 60% as usual, 142, which is pretty damn good. That's with some pretty major adrenal reaction. Reload this, even though we've only expended 9 from the mag, and we'll go around the other side. Get a sense of how this thing does with its spread. Also, there's a random ass minigun sitting on the ground there. That's exactly where I picked it up, actually. Picked this weapon up. I did it during a fixer video, and I botched the recording on it. I went apeshit, but it made the reaction that I had seem 10 times over the top as what it actually was. I was just sitting there like, oh shit. But then my mic was super loud, right? So it felt like it sounded like I was screaming into my mic, but no, I don't do that. So as you can tell, even at these medium ranges, we're getting every hit on the target as long as we can zero in with our little dot there as our crosshair. So definitely a very accurate weapon and good for bullet efficiency. So when it comes to miniguns, bullet efficiency is definitely what you want with this, and it makes a tri-barrel very, very good for that. If you've got like, I don't know, thousands of 5mm like me, maybe it won't matter as much, but still, you know, those almost 45,000 of those 5mm bullets will last a little bit longer with the tri-barrel, so yeah. And we're off to an action-packed start because I got spotted for like a second, but that's not going to matter all that much because I'm using a minigun. Stealth isn't really what I'm supposed to be doing. Oh my god, can I just jump on the side of this? There we go. Alright, let's see if we can't get saved from Born Survivor here. Looks like we can. So obviously, when in areas like this, there's no real reason not to use an accelerated barrel just for that extra little bit of damage that you get out of it because a little bit better DPS due to the rate of fire, and oh, I've gone death because I'm almost dead. This would be a good time for Nerd Rage, wouldn't it? There will be a time for Nerd Rage in miniguns, I will tell you that much. But today is not that day. Stabilize will do it, and as we move through our first section there, by the skin of our bloody teeth, we've actually got there pretty quickly.
Spineless human.
Oh, okay, back into caution. You know what that means. It's time for sneaking. Nothing says sneaking like minigun. It's even more sneaky than a chainsaw, would you believe? Alright, I'm a little bit open here. Might as well go ahead and hide in here a little bit. And using miniguns in here has always got a little bit of risk to it, but now that I am using the tri-barrel, I'm thinking that I can risk it a little bit more when I'm in those close quarter situations because this thing with a low rate of fire, it's going to kill you a lot less quickly than anything of the accelerated barrel. Oh, there's another legendary. Would give me scripts, motherfucker. What'd you have for me? Anti-armor rolling pin. Oh, that's next video. No, it's not. I've got a different rolling pin next video for my 100th one. So there's your little spoiler there. It's going to be a powerful weapon, I'll tell you that much. Actually, I've never used it before, so it's going to be all new for me. And all those robots are out. Well, those robots are only a temporary distraction, so no problems with damage with any explosive miniguns at this point. We all know that how good these things were back in Fallout 4, and now they're kind of like what they were in Fallout 76. So if you're Spectre, right, you've got adrenaline, you've got adrenal reaction, you've got all these other perks to boost your damage, you're going to be slaughtering mobs in here. Who cares about PvP? It's broken right now. I'll address PvP when they actually get around to fixing what is blatantly broken with that. But let's just finish off the super mutants by killing them like this. And might as well use this thing a little bit at range over here. Actually, the ones with the automatic rifles kind of scare me because they've got much better damage than the rest of their hunting rifle wielding friends or regular semi-auto assault rifle using friends. There's another one, by the way. Back up to 50% health, thank you, Born Survivor. Normally I'd say, oh yeah, maybe if you've got like a good finger for the stim pack trigger, basically, yeah, never use that. But honestly, if you're using or not using power armor, it'll stick you in some sort of weird animation where you have to do the stim pack, which actually cancels reloads, so it can. And whereas if you're using it with Born Survivor, for example, you don't have to worry about having that animation play, so you can reload or do whatever when you're healing. So honestly, there's another reason why I always recommend that one. Cripple your legs, please. Come on, One Gun Army, do something here. I don't really know how that works. If it works like not Born Survivor, One Gun Army, no, Luck of the Draw, and it sort of works by trigger pulls, I guess that would make sense because basically any enemy that you fire upon with a minigun would basically be staggered and crippled for eternity. So maybe that's why, but I don't know, it's kind of weird how that works. And can I defend myself here? This would be a good time for Sentinel's armor, wouldn't it? Oh well, that's getting a nerf, so be prepared to see people sulking about. That almost done here, just another legendary with a board. Okay, well, unfortunately his board beats the minigun if he's close because I'll just destroy myself. But if we stand back to where he can't get us, he'll hesitate for a second, and then he will die. Alrighty, looks like we've done everything except the Krabby, so I guess we'll finish off with those blokes. Alright, let's see how fast we can slaughter these dudes, especially this Radroach, he's gotta die. Yeah, I wouldn't recommend using bats with miniguns still, even with the lowered rate of fire of the tri-barrel, not worth it whatsoever. Alright, looks like we've drawn a few out. See, it took a while to stagger that guy. I don't even think we got a stagger in there. So, yeah, the way they calculate those, you know, per shot perks or whatever, like, it seems to be a lot more consistent with Enforcer. Everybody uses that, or everybody should use that to drop the Queen in a Scorched Beast Queen fight. Unless you're a rifles character, just use Tormentor and swap out. There's the My Alert Queen. She's up a little bit earlier today, but we'll just check our adrenaline, 50%. Well, 50% is the best we're going to get on the Queen, so let's go ahead and mash her face, not munch it. We're not going to eat her. Although, we could, like, harvest her meat and pretend it's her face, but who wants to eat crab eyes and brains? That wouldn't be good. They always cut off the crab's head with, like, scissors or something, don't they, when they prepare them IRL? You wouldn't catch me eating anything's eyes. That's disgusting. Anyway, so there you have it, the Furious minigun with the explosive and the tri-barrel. It's been quite a good weapon to use. I like how the chrome isn't too bright in the darkness. It actually gleams kind of nicely. I like that. It reflects off the sunlight well, and in the dark it looks pretty good as well. So I'm happy that I got enough atoms to buy that. Makes miniguns look heaps cooler anyways. So if you'd like to see this weapon in your game, well, I guess I've got an anti-armor explosive minigun, a Furious minigun, and don't tell anybody, but I got a bloody minigun. And you know, all of those miniguns are great, but there's only going to be one of them who's going to, you know, reign supreme at the end of the day. So I don't know. I might get rid of this. I don't know. Show us what you got. Show me your offers, and I might be tempted to let her go. Thank you for watching, guys.